Well, I've done it again. I've bought another cheap and cheerful radio from China. Let's put some batteries in and we'll have a look inside, because that's what you do with cheap radio. I actually found out what the chips are. It's fully integrated AM, FM and shortwave radio on a chip, kicking out 2.65 watts. Thumbs up for me on this one. Hello and welcome to another Wobbly Camera Guy video. Well, I've done it again. I've bought another cheap and cheerful radio from China, and I thought I'd do a quick review for you today so you can see what you get. So what have I bought? I've bought an Indin BC-R60 radio, FM and AM, the AM just being the medium wave. FM is covering 88 to 108 megahertz, and the AM band is covering from 530 to 1600 kilohertz, so just a standard sort of frequency. And this is a printout off the AliExpress site. You can see that it's cost £2.81. I actually paid £3.39, so I'm actually a little bit miffed about that. But different sort of suppliers give different sort of prices. Sometimes the post is a little bit higher, sometimes it's a little bit less. In my case, I paid 75p shipping, so overall I paid £4.14 for it. So what do you get? Well, this is the package that you get. That was your bag. Tiny little radio again, as we had last time. If you look on my channel, you see I did a review of a BC-R21, which is that one. In fact, it's from the same manufacturer. But I have to say, out of the two, my preference is for this one, and I'll show you why in a minute. So, what do you get? You get AM, FM radio, as I said, with a little telescopic aerial, little headphone socket, your band selection, AM, FM, tuning, and on and off. So, before I do, let's put some batteries in and see how she sounds. So, a couple of AAs. Just pop those in, couple back on. And let's see what we've got. So, at the moment, we are selected on AM.
It's going well, so they can afford to wait for him.
FM. Quite lively actually for a little radio. It does seem to pick up the stations quite well. So what do we need to do? We actually need to take the back off and we'll have a look inside, because that's what you do with cheap radio. So let's get the batteries out. And see if we can do the tiny little screws and see exactly what we've got. Which, if the other one was to go by, it'd be not an awful lot. But there is a little bit of an interesting caveat when I'm saying that. So just bear with just 1 second, put these screws so I don't lose them. You do get a belt clip with this, which is useful if you want to use a pair of headphones. Shame they didn't actually give you a cheap pair of headphones to go with it. That would have made it a little bit more complete, but never mind. Put that to one side. Now I just need to get this off carefully because it is just clipped in and the plastic is not that strong. Let's see how we can do it without breaking it. Come on, you know you want to. There we go. So, what have we got? Oh, as I said, not an awful lot. We've got band selection via a little slidey switch on the opposite side there. Your volume, tuning capacitor on the inside. You can just about see a little green tuning cap there. What we have got is 2 chips. And what I've done, although I can't read the actual markings with the naked eye, I got a ubiquitous iPhone zoomed in and I actually found out what the chips are. And what they're implying is 2 chips. You've got, basically, it's a radio on a chip and an amplifier. And I've actually dug out the data sheets on this, which makes a little bit more interesting radio than what you think you've got. So, I hope you can see this. Basically, the larger chip out of the 2 is this fully integrated AM, FM and shortwave radio on a chip. Now then, this is not a shortwave radio, this is just AM and FM, but it actually gives you the spec of the coverage of this chip. And on FM it goes from 32 up to 110 megahertz, AM band is the 500 to 1750, which is okay, which is standard, and it also does a shortwave coverage of 1.6 to 32 megahertz. So that chip covers an awful lot of coverage for such a small sort of device, and they're not making half of the use of it in this little radio. So it just begs the question is, how much are these chips? And I did have a look at them, and they're going for like about 25 cents. It's crazy, isn't it? But the question is then, because this radio is so cheap, could you add either extra FM coverage by changing some of the coils, or even see whether or not you can actually take advantage and convert it into a shortwave receiver? That would be an interesting thing to have a look at. But I do sort of suggest dig out the specification sheet for this. There's a lot of info there. I'm not going to go through it now, but it just shows you that, you know, there's more to these radios than meets the eye. So anyway, that's the actual sort of radio on the chip, if you like. And then the other chip was the amplifier, and I dug that out again, and this turns out to be an Incom 8002. And again, just quickly running through it, have a quick look at the specs. And for that tiny little chip, at 5 volts, admittedly at 10% distortion, is kicking out 2.65 watts. That's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. In this one, I mean, it's going to be, I don't know, a few tens of milliwatts, which is plenty at the end of the day. But it just goes to show you that sometimes there's more to these radios than meets your eye, and that so cheap you could actually have a play around with them if you got the time to do that and convert it into something that perhaps it wasn't originally sort of designed for. Anyway, I thought they'd like to sort of show you that and just show you that there is a little bit more to these sometimes that meets the eye. I'm going to pop the cover back on, put the screws back in. He says, fumbling around because these screws are small, and I'm trying to do this with a camera directly in front of me, but let's see if I can do this. Oops. Put these little devils in, if it'll go in. Let's do it a better way. There's one. Oops. Silly little devil sometimes. Oh. You are going in to there. Let's pop the batteries back in. These radios aren't the best quality. I mean, obviously built to a price, but they have reasonable performance at the end of the day. As I say, that was the previous one that I bought, and out of the two, I would say this is the better. It just feels a little bit strong and a little bit more robust, even though they basically share the same circuits and components, and it's from the same manufacturer, so they're even virtually the same size. But it's just sometimes just those little sort of nuances make that sort of difference. So let's try them again.
Eased from a week on Monday, 2 people rather than 1 will be able to visit, and parents will be allowed to bring their babies and toddlers. Strict rules will
It's alright. The question is then, would I recommend this? Depends on what you want to use it for, but basically the answer to that is yes. You're paying £4 for a very small radio that you can pop in the garden, or you can pop it on the shelf if you're doing just some work and you want to listen to the sport maybe. It's not hi-fi, it's never meant to be, it's never going to be that. But if you just want to listen to the news, or just your favourite radio station, or you're doing your jobs and bits and pieces, I'd say it's perfect. So yeah, thumbs up for me on this one. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, then pop across my channel. There's plenty of other videos on radios, some vintage stuff there, and also some other interesting content as well. And as always guys, appreciate you watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.